Okay, hey everyone. This tutorial is focused on use case where you have a SnapLogic user who wants to read files, multiple files or directories from their Google Drive. I think we'll start with the tutorial that currently exists, and I did follow this tutorial, and for the most part, it's quite good. But there were a few things that were not either up to date. Well, yeah, it's written 2015, so a few things have changed since then, and I thought maybe I should just do a walkthrough for anyone who has this use case in mind. And yeah, it's a cool API, Google Drive API, to um, do some practicing and practice different types of pipelines for SnapLogic. So let's get started. Step one, of course, you'll have to create a um, create a project in Google Developer Console. So I did not intend to leave the URI. Let's do this. Okay, so we're inside of my Google Developer Console, and as you can see, I have a previous SnapLogic driven API, and I'm going to create a new project. So I'm just going to create a project, and this project will be called YouTube SnapLogic Google Drive demo. Okay, that's a really long name. No organization, so let's create that project. Mm, must be 4 and 30 characters. So it's too long. Okay, just say SnapLogic Google Drive demo. Let's try that. Okay, so Google server is generating an instance or creating a project for me. And let's see what the next step of the tutorial requires. All right, so once a project has been created, we must enable Drive API integration. And once again, this article was made in 2015, so there's been some changes since then. So I'll try to show you how you would do it nowadays in 2020. Home permissions API okay. So let's go enable APIs. Let's go enable APIs for this project. Da, 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 um, APIs and services. Let's go to the dashboard, and we'd like to enable for SnapLogic here. We're doing a API call to Google Drive, so we'd like to enable SnapLogic to read from the Google Drive API. So first, let's switch tabs briefly. Here I've already hit create, and I'm going to name this pipeline demo Google Drive API Connect. So I'm going to save that right here. And right off the bat, we're going to have REST GET. This is going to be a REST API call. REST GET. And next, we will have to create an account. Now I've already created an account, but I'll do another one just for the purposes of this video. And this is going to be, let's see, dynamic to auth. Let's confirm what type of auth is it. Yeah, REST auth 2. So that's what we're going to do. REST auth 2. Okay. Let's call it RJ G drive auth. And the client ID and the client secret are something that are going to be provided now when we go back to the Google Developer Console. So here we're going to enable APIs and services, and the API we're concerned with, or any API that you're looking for, you'll find here once they belong to Google, so Google Drive API, and I'm going to enable this API so that I can get files or folder information from a personal individual account, which is my individual account. For all the hackers out there, I'm going to delete this project and all the key information as soon as the video is over. So good luck trying to hack me then. Um, okay, so let's get back to the tutorial. Once we've enabled the APIs, we're going to have to customize the OAuth consent screen. We don't have to, but let's see. I don't even have a picture downloaded. Yeah, I don't even have a picture downloaded. So let me go to this SnapLogic Google Drive demo. How do I see the general information of that project I've created? Right, okay, so here we're going to create credentials. Is that where we're at? No, not quite. I've enabled the API. Next, I want to OAuth consent screen. Okay, yeah, that's nice. So the consent screen, let's deal with this. Now, because I'm not a G Suite user, I'm not going to be able to use the internal registration for my app. It has to be registered as an external user type. So let's create app name, demo, SnapLogic, Google Drive, API. Support email, personal email, please don't spam me. Next, app logo, we don't have any. Developer contact information, there we have it again. And this email account is the same one that I will use for the purposes of reading the files from my Google Drive. Okay, okay, this is all done. Oh, all of this information really remains default. Save and continue. Optional info, nothing. Save and continue. And this is a summary. Nothing to see here. Okay, so now let's go to credentials. This is very important, and it would be impossible to achieve our objective without creating credentials. So what we have to do is we have to create is a OAuth client ID, not API key, OAuth client ID. The application type is web application, web client. Let's leave that as default. And authorized redirect URI. So we want to redirect to SnapLogic from our Google Drive account. So here we're going to have to use this API, this URL as provided. Paste it in there and let's create. Okay, so now hackers of the world, go crazy. Now I'm going to save this on my notepad so I don't forget. And these are really important. You need to, I wouldn't say write these down, but you do need these to perform the task we're about to. So this is my client ID, voila. And this is my secret. It's not so secret. The whole internet's gonna know it soon enough. And there you are. Okay, and next, I think we're done. Okay, so let's go back to the tutorial. So far so good. We followed all those steps. We took note of the client ID and secret. Now let's get to SnapLogic. The first step we've already done, and we have to create an account that is going to permit the REST snap to access the account that we have in mind, the Google Drive account that we have in mind. So this is where client ID comes in. I just got one. It's long. So copy, you're gonna paste that in here. Next, I have my API, not my API, my secrets. Paste that in there. And header authenticated. I don't remember this setting. Let me have a look here. Let's see. Okay, yeah, that is checked in the box. Oh, it's quite small for the viewer. So it's checked. And the URI that's used here is HTTPS accounts google.com auth. So let's copy that in there. HTTPS accounts.google APIs. Oh, I have a good memory, don't I? OAuth. Google.com OAuth 2 auth. OAuth 2 auth. And token. That is also from the site that I'm viewing now. Let's see what it says. And this was one of the areas where I had to make a change in order for it to be effective. Um, no, actually, it's the same. HTTPS www Google APIs or to v3 token. www.accounts.googleapis.com OAuth2 v3 token. OAuth2 v3 token. Okay, token endpoints is going to be the same as the redirect URI. Which was up here. My mouse wouldn't malfunction on me in the middle of the most important video. Okay, here you go. So redirect URI. Does that have a $sign in front of it? Do not remember. Yeah, redirect URI twice, and then auth endpoint config. Let's do this again. Redirect URI. Same thing. The response type is code, and basically configuring Google authentication into your application or APIs, it can be a bit complicated, and for me at least, and you will have to do a bit of reading. So if you do want more information about the APIs and how to use them effectively, I do invite you to browse the extensive Google documentation on doing such. Okay, so note to self, you have a lot of reading to do if you plan to work with Google APIs. So response type code. Next, let's see. We have scope. Aha, so this is quite important. You have different scopes, and the scope is really what are you gonna be accessing? What are you going to be trying to access? What is the scope of your investigation into this person's Google Drive folder? And you have different scopes. And I'll just put I'll just put the one that's required here. Okay. So scope, and one more. We have access type. I'm not quite sure what this is actually, but I just copied as I saw it here. It has to do probably with if the person is logged in at the time when you try to access the Google Drive. And the approval prompt is auto. So approval prompt auto. Okay. Scopes, I think it's important you know something about that. Scope, Google Drive API. So there's so much to read in terms of the scopes. But here, this is good information. So you can see from here the different URLs that have different types of requests for access to the Google Drive account. So Google Drive auth drive, this is what I'm going to be using here, and this is full permissive scope to access all the user's files, excluding application data. Now you might just want read-only, so you would use drive.hash read-only, allows for read-only access to install apps. You may also have metadata. You may just want to have the metadata related to files, and this would allow you to do so. So this is an important topic and place where you need to do a little reading just to know what is the scope of um, the application, the API call that you would like to implement. So I'm gonna paste that in there. Okay, so we look good here. I think we're all set. Let's give her a ride, see what happens. Okay. Ooh, it was not found on this server. That's all we know. Okay, well, good. Errors are good. Let's see what's happening. Accounts, Google APIs account, OAuth 2. Let me see what's different. OAuth 2. Hmm. What is happening here? What is happening here? What is happening here? Uh-huh. Let's try this again. The requested URL OAuth2 was not found on the server. Hmm. Okay, let me have a quick look at another implementation that I did. Let's just apply this for now so we can come back to it. Let me check my pipelines out. In a case of the sticky mouse. This is another pipeline I did just before making this video, and let's see how this account is configured. So, as you know, developer life. Is that the same as what I have? It might be. Yeah, let's try this. Let's see if this is different. Okay, let's close this off. Let's go back to the demo. Hmm. That looks shorter. Maybe there's something to it. It's a bit shorter. Let's see what's happening now. The requested URL OAuth2 was not found on the server. Hmm. Endpoint OAuth2. This I think this URL must be wrong. Um, well, welcome to development life. Let me see what this account uses. Let's see if any of the other configuration is different. Nope. Okay, try it again. Okay, let's try again. Alright, let's see if we can authorize. That'd be a bummer if we can authorize. Hope you guys can see my videos. Ta-da! Okay, yeah, just probably a typo in one of my URLs. So I'm providing access to my email account. It says this app isn't verified. Of course, if you need to verify your app, that's a formal process you have to take up with Google. Let's go to SnapLogic unsafe. So uh, give SnapLogic permission to see, edit, create, and delete all of your Google Drive files. Allow. I will delete this project after. I don't want anyone else to be able to edit or delete files from my Google Drive. So this is just for demonstration purposes. mm-hmm. Okay, we're all good there. So let's go to the settings. And here we have the service URL, which is basically where the API connects to my actual drive. What is that URL? I do not remember. Let's try here. Aha, right. So this was another aspect of this tutorial that was slightly off just because of the age of the document. In my case, it was actually version 3, v3. I don't know if there are more versions, or if this version was deprecated, but and the search parameter for the file in my folder, um, it never did work. But let me just demo up to the point that I got, and the next video, of course, I will figure out how to access the folders, individual folders, but at least you'll see how to access v3. Ooh, battery. At least you'll see how to access. Oh, it's all going right for me today, and you'll see how to access the drive folder. Okay, let's save. Let's let it rip. Let's have a look. What happens when we try to validate this snap after 1 hour of trying to set up? Ooh, okay, let's see. Let's see. Errors are good. Illegal character. Yeah, okay. Why would I put that there? So it's really good as programmers. People who are learning to program and develop, that you get used to errors. Errors are your friend, and if you learn to read, you'll see why they're not a bad thing. You can just figure out what the problem is. Okay, so let's try again. Let's try again. That's taking too long. Let's see what's happening here. The suspense. Hmm. It's a bit long. Default timeout. Set that to 100. And now we play the waiting game. Hmm, how strange. Aha, damn it. Okay, stop validation. I have to change the settings to Cloudplex from Groundplex. So that's important note, SnapLogic users. It is important to be in the right plex. Okay, so let's go to, I need to create a new instance, a new pipeline. Let's call it other pipeline, other demo pipeline. And basically the Groundplex, it works on a on-premise server or on-premise local machines, let's say, and the Cloudplex works on the cloud. So I'm going to paste here the exact same implementation. I'll show you so that you'll see there's no magic tricks. Let's validate. I'll look at my files. Ta-da! So here you have it. Sneak peek into the wonderful world of my Google Drive. So here we have metadata information about the successful REST API call, the entity, and these are the files that I have in my folder now. SnapLogic training, Oracle stuff. Okay, so there you have it. So this is as far as I've got reading individual files. Let me just show you the errors I'm having. Maybe you can comment if you have an idea as to maybe why the parameters don't work. So I say Q. Let's say title contains snap. And let's see what happens when we try to validate this here. Um, this has returned the 400 error for me, which is bad request. And I'm not sure exactly what the reason for that is, but I'm going to figure that out for you. And next video, you'll get to see, we'll read from my Google Drive with a different account and project and do some transformations to the data in it. So let's end on a good note though. Let me get rid of this. Let me try one more. Just say Snap Logic Training. Let's see. The suspense. Oh, failure. Okay, and let's see. Yeah, so this is connected to permissions, I suspect, and I'll have to investigate further. Or let me remove those single something apostrophes. Let's try again. Yeah, same error. But as you can see, this process, I've done this over the course of 2 days, and I can assure you there were a lot more errors, and then finally it worked, and like all developers out there, I was so happy. Yeah, so there you go. Success. Okay, so thanks for tuning in. Stay tuned for more videos. I'll be focusing on SnapLogic mostly for the next couple months, and then I want to get more into some cool Java programming, especially machine learning. So stay tuned. Take care. Bye.